Welcome to another episode of the 5 Minute Money Manager. I love the following quote by Herbert Hoover. About the time we can make the ends meet, somebody moves the ends. This somewhat humorous statement becomes more relevant to more people during times of rapid inflation. When the prices of goods and services increase, it takes more income to maintain one's current lifestyle. And because wage increases are generally smaller than price increases, many of us are left with our expenses exceeding our income. This is particularly burdensome to those living in or near poverty who already have difficulty making ends meet. That is, it becomes more and more difficult for them to purchase their basic needs. There are only three viable options when our expenses exceed our income. 1. Increase income. 2. Decrease expenses. Or 3. A combination of increasing income and decreasing expenses. But what about credit cards? While using credit to maintain a specific level of spending is possible for a brief time, credit is not income. Credit has to be paid back with the added expense of interest. The use of credit, which is just another way of saying debt, only increases expenses, thus widening the gap between income and expenses. But Dr. Anderson, I don't want to change my lifestyle, meaning I don't want to decrease my expenses. Then option 1 is your only choice. You will need to increase your income. You might have to work more hours at your current job or get a second job. You might have to relocate to where you can obtain a better paying job. You may have to go back to school to obtain more education and training in order to get a better paying job. Your spouse may also have to do one or more of the things necessary to increase her or his income. And the irony is, the process of increasing income by itself often changes a person's lifestyle. For many people, it may not be feasible, at least in the short term, for them to increase their income. The only option for them is to decrease their expenses, that is, change their lifestyle. When I would have my students do an exercise in reducing expenses, there were always a few energetic ones who would start cutting out entire spending categories such as entertainment or eating out. This cutting approach may work on paper, but rarely works well in practice. I would often question my students, do you really think you can live your life with no entertainment? Why not try a trimming approach where you first cut back on an expense, but not eliminate it? For example, if you are used to eating out twice a week, cut back to only once a week. That's a quantity trimming. You can also employ a quality trimming, where you would eat at less expensive restaurants. Now, there may be times when cutting out an expense completely would be desirable. Maybe, for example, you have a smoking habit you want to quit. Eliminating this expense completely would then be your goal. In the process of analyzing your expenses, you will find that some expenses, like insurance premiums, rent, and car payments, cannot be cut or trimmed. Although some expenses may be fixed or hard to change in the short term, remember that the reality is that nothing is fixed in the long term. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.